'cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Maroochydore, Kilmore, Mooloolaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Ulladulla, Darwin, Gingin, Lillaquen, Muckilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
There is our mate Lucky Star. He's been everywhere. I reckon he's been to Bruce Rock, but he didn't put it in his song, so we had to do it for him. We are going to Bruce Rock, where we don't just have a resident, Rob. We have the Shire President, His Grace, or His Honour, or His whatever.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Stephen Strange. G'day, Stephen. Your worship, or what do we have to call you?
Stephen will be great.
Great to have you on board, and thanks to Karen, who's probably having a listen as well, who organised the conversation for us.
No, she has. No, we're both enjoying the morning over here.
Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stephen, if you're over here and you're in the municipal council, you'd be under the pump. They've run out of money and they're making decisions that are tearing the fabric of the community apart. How's your council running at Bruce Rock?
We're going along beautifully. We've got our challenges, don't worry about that. But we're very lucky. We've got a lovely small community of about 1,000 people that incorporates the farming area plus the town, and things are ticking over very nicely, I have to say. Our biggest challenge has been we lost our supermarket 3 years ago in a fire, and the Shire, the council, are building a new one. So I suppose that's pretty exciting, but I didn't think I'd ever be in a position as a Shire President building a supermarket.
No, that's
You'll have your name on the plaque.
How do you brief?
It was opened by His Royal Highness Stephen Strange. You'll be all over it.
Over here, we often in the media refer to with the in the council chambers having robust debate, but then hopefully at the end of it all you have resolution and you remain good mates. Have you got a good crew to work with?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. No, very motivated, very committed to their positions. Of course, they are volunteers at the end of the day here. We're quite a small council. Once we do what we do at the meeting, they go back to work. So it's tremendous. They're very motivated.
Yeah, I think that's quite good when you make that differentiation. If they're in a small community, they run a business in a small community, or maybe a farmer, and they come in to make decisions that affect the rest of the community, you'd usually imagine that it's heart and soul and they're doing it for the right reason. And as long as you've got that sort of harmony, that's how I remember the old councils working. Today, in big places like Geelong, and obviously you'd have it in Perth as well, sometimes the councillors' motivations might be slightly different.
Perhaps they are, but at this time of the year we're seeding, we're flat out seeding, and the canola's up and about, and we're sowing the cereals at the moment, so people come into the meetings, and it's a full-day meeting, so they've got a lot happening in their lives, and they do the business, and then they go back to work, so tremendous.
So let's help the folk out who are standing there scratching their head going, are we talking to Bruce Rock in Stephen Strange or Stephen Strange in Bruce Rock? Bruce Rock is the name of the town and the local government area. Now, by my reckoning, I'm heading from Perth towards Melbourne about 3 hours out on the Great Eastern Highway. I get to Calaberan, Merredin, that part of the world, and you're a bit south. How have I done?
You haven't gone too badly, but I wouldn't be going that way. That's the long way around.
Right.
You do head out of Perth on the Great Eastern Highway, and then you turn off and you go through a place called York, a wonderful historical town of York, and then you continue east about another hour and a half, and then you're in Bruce Rock town.
I may have spoken to someone in York yesterday, as it happened.
It's a beautiful place, York, particularly through the springtime. It's wonderful.
No, I think that's where Karen was when I spoke to her yesterday to arrange this conversation, you understand.
So there's not a lot of sheep and cattle where you are. It's just all diesel burning, big monstrous machinery that costs a lot and puts a lot of pressure on you blokes to look up to the sky, hope the rain comes so you can pay the bills.
Yeah, we're an interesting breed, aren't we?
You are an interesting breed.
I'm third generation here. My son and daughter-in-law run the farm now. My wife and I, Karen, live on the farm. We still work reasonably hard at busy times, but and they have 3 boys, our son and daughter-in-law. So it's all happening. It's in the blood. There's not too many livestock around at the moment. It's been mainly cropping with the new science and technology that has been rolled out over the last 30 years or more. no-till farming, making use of every drop of rain. But as we said before, we hang out for 5 mil, and with 5 mil, the crop looks a lot brighter.
It's a funny concept, and for those listening in the city who have a job where they get paid at the end of each week's work, you give your heart and soul for 7 days and you're rewarded. The concept of telling them, now we want you to work for us for the next 12 months, and at the end of that time we'll assess whether we're actually going to pay you anything, because it might depend, well, it will depend on how the weather is. So are you happy enough to work under those circumstances? How many people do you reckon line up for that? But farmers do.
Yes, I wish I hadn't put it that way. It doesn't sound very appealing to a young
But that is the concept, though. It really does get to that, and not only do you have to wait to see if you get a return, you've actually got to pay for the privilege of going to work for 12 months. That's the other silly part about it.
I think that the other balancing part of it, and I'm sitting in my office, I'm looking out a window, and there's a magnificent canola crop really thriving. There's a rolling hill. There's a lovely little fog rolling through. We've got to enjoy where we are too.
Yeah.
And when you look at the financial part of farming, well, we look at it long term, 5 to 10 years. We are custodians, if you like, of the land while we have it. And every year we're improving the land as well. And we're producing more of it. And people are hungry. So our product is certainly in demand.
So, Stephen, presumably out there where you are, there is a rock that gives the name of the town. Is that true?
There is, just east of the town. It's actually a flat rock. The original name of the town is Nurnigan, or was Nurnigan. And the railway lines went through here around 120 years ago plus. And what was happening, there's Narrogin and there's Nurnigan and there's Nungarran, and the freight kept getting lost.
Yep.
So they decided to change the name. And, well, they can do those things in those days. And they just, whether it was a council meeting or not, I'm not sure, but there was a sandalwood cutter just east of Bruce Rock, and he was called Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived on a rock, and all of a sudden, John Rufus Bruce, the town was named after him.
And Rob is quite disappointed because his middle name is Bruce, and he thought it was named after him, which is a bit disappointing.
I was
for
trying
you
to find a
that.
connection there.
Yeah. So, given that, and I spoke to Karen yesterday, your wife, to organise this conversation, and I said, "How are things going, Karen?" She said, "Oh, the supermarket's just about ready to open," and like it is the biggest thing happening. How far have you had to go to get your groceries?
We set up, as in the Shire, once the fire happened that 3 years ago, and it was just at the start of COVID. So you can imagine none of us, probably in the world, but certainly in Australia, knew what we were in for at that point. So there were a lot of safeguards being put in place. The fire happened, and there couldn't be freight in and out of town. Well, you couldn't hop in your car and go and do your shopping, put it that way, in a neighbouring town. So we set up a temporary store in the Shire Hall.
Okay.
Within 36 hours, we had everything in place, all the shelving, fridges and freezers, and then probably the toughest part was getting food.
Yeah.
And because of all the restrictions at the time, and getting some freight out of Perth. So we were very lucky. We had some generous donations from people of food that came into Bruce Rock, was delivered small parcels individually to households. As you can imagine, there are a lot of very frightened people. When your supermarket burns down and you're in lockdown, what are we going to do? So, yeah, we're very lucky the way it did work out. Everyone did band together, and again, that's the beauty of our town. And our motto is friends, where friends become family.
Yep.
And everyone did band together and did act like a family. So at the end of the day, we've got our supermarket running a temporary store, which is tremendous. There's a wonderful little vibe there. I think out of a catastrophic thing like that happening and bringing people together, it actually has brought the community together and realised how wonderful a place Bruce Rock is. Then the Bruce Rock supermarket, the build, going through the process, and we're about halfway through the build, I suppose. Everyone's banded together again, whether it be through donations and to actually build it, and I'm looking forward to the opening.
Any problems getting a permit through the council?
You can flick.
That's the spirit.
Good stuff.
Hey, Stephen, we've got to get going because we're coming up to the weather and another program, but it's great to have a chat to you and understand a bit about Bruce Rock. If people were coming through, can they stay in Bruce Rock or do they have to go up the road somewhere and stay?
No, absolutely. We've got a lovely caravan park. We've got accommodation here. Have a look online, book online, and come through and have a look at our town and just enjoy it while you're here.
Yeah, and if all else fails, just tell them you know the Shire President.
I'm not sure that would help.
Thanks, Bruce. Great. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Stephen, for your chat, and we'll chat again sometime.
No, thank you, and all the best to Geelong.
Thanks, mate.